Huge news is Johnny Depp's main mainstream accuser has been fired. That's right. He is fired. He is under investigation. He has been suspended from another place. This is getting crazy. Now, what's astounding about this is that Dan Wootton originally tried to throw another person under the bus for this. That's right. He was like, oh man, yeah, I was laughing at comments, but I was shocked and appalled by all of this. Dan, I mean, he has tried so many people via media, via social media. Johnny Depp, he's tried other people in media as more, and now he is done. You and I, we're going to talk about that today. Crazy times, huh? Crazy times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. Man, how things have changed. I mean, in the last 24 hours, Johnny Depp's mainstream accuser, the one that caused the UK trial, he has been terminated. He has also been suspended from another job, and on top of that, an investigation has been launched into his conduct. Now, Sky News is actually the network that ends up breaking this, noting that there's going to be an investigation, noting the suspension that happened yesterday, and that Mail Online now has ended up terminating Dan Wootton. And in my opinion, all of these places, they were just looking for a reason to go after Dan Wootton after accusations ended up hitting the public. And I'm not saying guilt with accusation, although Dan Wootton, if it was about you, yeah, he'd probably say that you were guilty. But look at this headline. This is by Sky News. Ofcom, and we've talked about them quite a bit lately, announces official investigation into GB News over the Lawrence Fox comments on the Dan Wootton show. Now, as they note here, Dan Wootton was suspended by GB News on Wednesday after comments by Lawrence Fox on his show earlier this week. Now, on top of that, this just happened. You have him fired as well. I think, again, Mail Online, they've been looking for any reason whatsoever to detach, just like GB News. Well, Mail Online, now they've terminated the presenter's freelance columnist contract, with Ofcom also getting involved, saying, hey, we have had thousands of viewers. They've talked about this situation. They've complained about the incident. They want to go out, and this will result in fines. This will result in issues for Dan Wootton. This could be the end. I mean, you never really know. Now, as far as proof is concerned, too, you actually have Mail Online terminating him before any investigation is launched at all. They wouldn't have been targeted there anyway. But this, like I said, it looks like them getting an out. And remember, GB News, they went ahead and formally suspended him and Lawrence Fox as well. And then you have the Oncom investigation. And this was apparently triggered, they say anyway, by over 7,000 complaints. Listen to this stuff. Quote, Ofcom has launched a formal investigation into GB News after the regulator received thousands of complaints about Lawrence Fox comments on Dan Wootton's show on Tuesday. The announcement came after Dan Wootton's contract as a columnist for Mail Online was terminated. And remember that, by the way, there will be a lot of spin on this. You'll have Dan Wootton talking about walking away. They agreed to something. No, it was terminated. They decided to formally disconnect from him. They're saying, yeah, you're on your own. You're done. Dan Wootton should have known, by the way, going out and accusing others, that would roll back on him one day. And that's what you see happen, according to a spokesperson for the news website's parent company. Now, the parent company of Mail Online, that is DMG Media, they decided that they would put out a statement about this as well. This is what they said, quote, following events this week, DMG Media can confirm that Dan Wootton's freelance column with Mail Online, and remember, that column, it ended up with a lot of viewership. I mean, as far as anyone in the UK is concerned, Dan Wootton, he caught a lot of eyes, but they had already paused it. They saved that, which had already been paused, has now been terminated. So they're talking about the column itself. It was terminated along with his contract. And before you feel bad for Dan Wootton, by the way, remember, he has gone after other journalists. He has gone after a lot of people. And I mean, one of the biggest that we know about is Depp. He decided that he would go after Johnny Depp for over 5 long years. He kept returning to it, even though he said he would go away. You know, he decided he would link up with accusers. So yeah, I mean, this, like I said, it's not a result of the accusation, but it is something that I think it was just waiting on the back burner. Now, as far as Ofcom is concerned, they decided they would release a statement as well, saying, quote, "We have launched an investigation into GB News under our rules on offense after receiving around 7,300 complaints about Tuesday's episode Tonight with Dan Wootton." That'll result, by the way, in a fine. You'll have GB News. They'll be trying to duck this and more. I mean, again, when you're dealing with Ofcom, you've seen lately exactly how much power, how much influence they can exert. So they're going to do whatever they want. And part of that, in my opinion, looking at other cases we're seeing, is getting rid of Dan Wootton. That should placate them. Again, you're going to get fined. But yeah, that pretty much says right out in front, he is done. Now, something really funny pops off in all of this, too, because you have Dan Wootton looking at all of it. He knows after the backlash, he knows he has messed up big time. So he decides he's not only going to put out an apology, that would be one way to go forward, show contrition, maybe this would blow over, but he decides on top of that he's going to throw Lawrence Fox under the bus by saying, looking back at that footage, I can see how inappropriate my reaction to this totally unacceptable remarks appears to be, and I want to be clear that I was in no way amused when I was laughing about this stuff. No, I was in shock. I was looking for something else to do. Yeah, I'm not laughing even though you think I am. Well, Lawrence Fox comes out and he's like, no, that's not the case at all. In fact, quote, honesty is the best policy. And he puts them in exchange between him and Dan Wootton. And he makes it very clear that Dan Wootton, he was amused at the time. He was having fun with this. But when it turned into a problem, he did what he always does. He tries to throw someone under the bus. Now, I also want to say that I think that Ofcom is hypocritical here because the person they were talking about at first, yeah, they should be investigating them too. They're dismissive of males. I'm going to say ending themselves. They've gone out. They have basically shield for false accusers. They say as far as accusations go, men should live in terror. That's the kind of stuff that was talked about. Their comments, they didn't hit that. They should have gone with that, but they didn't. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, Dan Wootton, he liked to ruin lives, and I guess he's done. Let me know what you think. As always, appreciate you. Links in the comments. Check it out, and thank you.